Today I'm reading a physics book in which I found a very deep line. So it was this book which I was reading. Trueness of any geometrical statement is dependent upon the trueness of the axioms which are formed. So yeah, how can we relate this statement of mathematics and physics, or basic geometry, to our life? Well, hello everyone, this is Aditya, and today I was reading a physics book in which I found a very deep line. So I thought to discuss it. So let's discuss that. But before that, please do like, share, subscribe my channel, and please support this video. Now let's start. So it was this book which I was reading, and it is about relativity, both special theory of relativity and general theory of relativity. So basically it deals with the concepts of relativity, but it does not include that much mathematics in it. But of course, for a beginner it is a very good book. But of course, it's not about books. So in this, there's a line on its 14th page which I found very deep and very interesting. So let me read it out, and please listen it carefully. The question of truth, please listen carefully. The question of truth of individual geometrical propositions is thus reduced to one of the truth of the axioms. Did you understood anything? Well, let me explain it. So basically, this statement means that the trueness of any geometrical statement is dependent upon the trueness of the axioms which are forming it. So yeah, how can we relate this statement of mathematics and physics, of basically geometry, to our life? Well, yeah, there are many examples which we can take. So let me give you a few examples. So suppose there's an investigation going of a particular case, and in that case there are four suspects A, B, and C. So how do we find that that particular person is guilty? Well, we use evidences. So if all the five evidences point to a particular person, suppose person B, then we will say that person B is guilty and rest are innocent. And of course, if it matches with 2%, then we can say that they both are guilty, and so on and so forth. So for now, let's make it simple and let's assume that person B is only guilty and rest are innocent. So what was the basic idea behind it? It was this statement only. Here evidences were acting like axioms. Well, of course, now one thing to be noted over here is that an evidence requires a proof to be correct, but axiom on the other hand, it does not require any proof. But in our day-to-day life, let's assume that we can treat evidence as axiom. Let's interrelate them, but of course it's not possible, because of course you need to know, you need to prove evidences, but axioms don't need any proof. But in our day-to-day life, let's keep it simple, let's keep our life simple, and let's assume that we are treating evidences as axioms, right? So we are just trying to interrelate them. Okay. So person B in this case followed all the five axioms, so that is why they were proved as guilty, while the other three suspects, they did not follow all the five axioms, so that is why they were innocent. And that is the basic idea of that line. But yeah, one thing I would like to say over here, many can ask me that what if the evidence out of five, for example, if one evidence was proven false, I mean, the evidences which have came from other departments, maybe they made any mistake, and due to which one evidence was wrong. So suppose if four evidences were true and one evidence was wrong, basically it gave a wrong data about the criminal, then suppose it matched with person C, and person C was proved guilty unknowingly and person B was proved innocent, then in that case the statement fails. No, the statement does not fail over here. Just read the statement again, you can go to that section again. So in that it said the trueness of those axioms. So over here you prove that evidence as wrong. It means that that axiom was proven wrong, but of course it is something which is a wrong statement itself, which I'm saying that axiom was proven wrong, because of course an axiom is something which don't need any proof, it is obviously true. But of course, just forget about that idea. Just think that in this case that evidence was proven wrong, the evidence which you got was wrong, which led to the conclusion that C was wrong, I mean C was guilty over there, right? So in this case, the statement which I told you before wasn't wrong at all, it was our error which made the basic evidences as wrong, due to which we came to the wrong conclusion. It is simply that you follow any wrong axiom to prove something else. You assume that that particular thing is an axiom, but in reality that is not an axiom. So now you understood what it means. And there are thousands of such examples which I can give. Think of anyone and give me in the comment section. And of course, it is related in our day to day life also. Let me tell you. Suppose there's a person A and person B. Just assume it. Suppose person B had did something wrong to person A, and person A thinks that person B is a bad person and he will always do something bad to person A, right? So suppose something wrong happens with person A, so the first doubt which will come in his mind, in his or her mind, that person B must have done something wrong to them. But is this statement true? Of course, no. When I said that person A thinks that person B is always a bad person, that statement was wrong. That is not an axiom. Why? Because it is not 100% true. Because of course you can't say that person B is wrong always. Because for example, maybe for me, person B is a good person. So it's a subjective topic. It is not an objective topic. You should note this one. So it means that person A said that person B has only done that thing to him or her is itself a wrong statement. So if the particular axiom, if you're saying it as an axiom, then you have to be 100% sure that you don't need its proof and it is always and always true, right? Yeah. So I hope so that you understood something from this video, and if you did not, then please do let me know in the comment section. And if you understood, then please do let me know by giving an example also, which you can think that is it relatable or not. So of course there are many things which I interrelated in this, so that it becomes easier for you to understand. And of course it is not a video about mathematics. It's about the mathematics and physics application in our day-to-day life. So it's not a direct application, but it is something relatable. So just think about it once and let me know in the comment section. Bye bye. Take care.